Hey, welcome back to The Dive. Today we have Russell Starr from Trillium Gold Mines back on the show. But before we get started, I'm just going to remind you about that subscribe button. If you click it, it'll be easier to find us next time. Hey Russell, welcome back to The Dive.
Hey Cassandra, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm done with COVID, but otherwise I'm good. Well, we were just talking about haircuts and whatnot. This is really frustrating, but it is what it is. So onward we go.
I'm done with it too. All right, so let's start. Okay, so let's start with the Coinbase IPO. Bitcoin has struggled since Coinbase went public. Do you think crypto may have topped out here or over the near term?
No, it's funny. I was just talking to some people on that. I think the Coinbase IPO itself stole momentum from crypto, Ethereum and Bitcoin, just because I think a lot of people probably sold to chase the Coinbase IPO, and then they moved the price up, 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 and now you're seeing the effects of um, a couple of shutdowns, one in Germany just because they didn't apparently have their share registration correct, and then I think HSBC is not allowing it either. But my view is that no, there's just so much of an institutional presence that's sitting down on the bid for Bitcoin or Ethereum that maybe we'll see it test 50 or 45, something like that. But any of the pundits who are calling for like a half or whatever, I just don't see that happening. It's there's too many institutions lining up who want to own the crypto space.
Okay, so here in Canada, the Bank of Canada announced they will begin to reduce purchases of bonds and let rates
Yeah.
rise. Do you think we could see a scenario where the Canadian dollar trades above the US dollar?
Oh, well, look, that's something that's not new, right? There have been multiple occurrences over time where you've seen the US dollar weaken against the Canadian dollar. I think even within the last decade, there was a period where I believe the Canadian dollar was at like 102 or 105 to the US dollar. The bigger point right now is commodities are running, oil is running. The Canadian economy is based off of that as a trajectory. It has less to do with interest rates. Inflation is rampant everywhere. Commodity prices are going higher. That's what's going to drive the Canadian dollar. Yes, the Canadian government will jawbone it higher, which they did a little bit today, saying that they might start raising rates. But the problem with raising rates, especially when your government has just announced the largest fiscal deficit ever, is that it's going to cost them infinitely more to pay it back. So I think this is just them trying to talk down some of the forces that are pushing it higher versus actually embarking on a journey where interest rates might go higher.
Gold is picking up. What are your thoughts on the macro outlook for the near-term price of gold?
So real rates are trending back negative, and that's what's putting a bid in the gold price. And again, using the same analogy that I just gave for the Canadian government, the US government can't afford for interest rates to go any higher. So as long as you've got negative real rates, you should see a bid for gold. And the other intriguing factor is that you've seen some speculation that China might actually have I think it's a crypto gold, a yuan-backed um, crypto instrument that might have a gold exposure, and then also some increasing purchases in the gold space. But I'm going to stick with my consensus call on this. Inflation is rampant. It's the destruction of fiat currencies. I just had a big article go out in Consensus where let's all be friends in the crypto and gold community. Both should benefit from what's happening in the world. And having exposure to both is going to protect you from a severe devaluation in your wealth, as it relates to the Canadian dollar, the US dollar, and just fiat currencies in general.
Okay, so let's talk Trillium. What are the
Yep.
latest updates and what has the company been working on since we last spoke?
So I mean, the latest updates are an extremely frustrated CEO who's waiting on almost 8,000 meters of drilling from the assay labs. It's been nothing short of almost ridiculous, the delays that these assay labs are subjecting their clients to. We have them rolling in right now, so I anticipate news any day. And the small good news is that there's a spring breakup where you have to sort of stay off the ground in Red Lake, so it's giving the assays a chance to catch up. So we're remobilizing our drill rigs probably next week or maybe the week after, just depending on the weather temperatures and how quickly the ground just stops being pure mud. And then we'll be drilling again. And hopefully in that interval, we'll have close to 8,000 meters of assay results. So we're anxiously awaiting those. We have lots of VG hits. I was trying to think, there was a company, can't even remember who it was, who press released, VG found in core. Like, we find VG in our core regularly and their stock just ripped. And it's really frustrating to watch people use it as a marketing tool versus actually just explaining the critical nature of what that means.
Literally anxiously awaiting tons of assay results. Close to 8,000 meters are sitting in the assay lab. It's been very, very frustrating to be a junior over this period. All the companies are suffering from it. So investors should expect a lot of news coming very, very shortly. And we're in the midst of what's called basically spring breakup, which just means that it's warming up and the ground is all mud. So you take about a 2-week break just to allow the ground to be a little bit more accessible. And so very, very shortly, we'll have our 3 drill rigs turning. So we had 2, one at Rivard, one at Newman Todd, and we're going to have a 3rd drill rig starting shortly at Gold Center. So news. It's been very, very frustrating for us because we have so many assays in the assay lab, and we actually need those results to direct our next hole and our next objective. And it's just been a very, very unfortunate sort of combination of coronavirus and then everybody sending assays to the assay labs from the money that was raised over the summer. So I know you don't like hearing the news is coming, but the news really is coming, and there's a lot of it.
Okay, so last question I have here. What are the near-term timelines or potential catalysts investors in Trillium should be watching for?
Well, the catalysts are going to be news. In my world, you always build value with the drill bit, and we are one of very few companies embarking on substantial drill programs like 30, 40, 50,000 meters. And so getting those 3 drill rigs turning shortly is going to be a big deal. Getting all of the assay results into the market is going to be a big deal. But the other sort of wild card that's going to be really interesting is we have a world-class exploration portfolio on top of Newman Todd and Gold Center, where we're doing all our drilling. And for the first time ever, we're going to get a chance to get on the ground and to do some initial early stage exploration. And people have to remember that this is a large part of that land is sitting on the same or a similar structure to what Great Bear's Dixie discovery sits on. So with a little bit of luck, we'll find something else pretty exceptional on that property. So much to come. And I like to reinforce that we are cashed up. We don't have to do a raise now, and hopefully you're going to see some great results and some great exploration results near term.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for joining us today, Russell.
You bet. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Cassandra. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button.